Hello, Ian here from Dark Blades Workshop. Welcome back to another video. This is a reveal and a chat about how I made this latest Star Wars diorama. It's called Trench Assault. Okay, I've been wanting to do a trench diorama for a while. Whether it was a deep-seated loving of the Airfix 172 scale, I can't remember what it was called now. It was like an assault. It was a little bit of a terrain piece. It's only about 8 inches across, I think, but that had trenches in it. I thought that was really cool. But I must have been influenced later on by seeing stuff on YouTube and Instagram anyway. The only thing that was holding me back all those years was skill levels, because I was so blinkered wanting Warhammer armies painted, and it's only the last couple of years I've been painting Star Wars stuff, so I thought, it's one of those situations where everything comes together at once. And I found a sculptor on Facebook, I believe, David Sheff is his name. He makes these amazing figures for Star Wars with just incredibly dynamic poses. His company's called Squamous Miniatures, and they've got a campaign on Patreon. And what he's doing is he picks an environment and then does that environment for a few months, and then he moves on. So he was doing an Arctic environment, so you could probably call it Hoth, snow troopers and speeders and stuff like that. So he did these snow troopers not so long ago, and the poses, I was just blown away. I thought they were brilliant, so I thought, right, we can use them in a trench, and the project was born. Okay, so I started off the build by planning where the miniatures were going to go, and I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do. So I just marked it out with the tape there, and then the next stage was just masking off the outside of the frame and then filling it with a bit of foam, and then just moving on to the construction of the walls. Then just used some foam board, made some vertical cuts along the end of each one so I could get a curve going, and just left it at that. So next up was taking some black foam board and cutting it to shape so that it could create a a top layer of the groundwork above, covered that with plaster of Paris, or polyfiller I think it was, and made a gradient sloping down towards the start of the top of the walls there. The main part of the trench are covered in Vallejo's thick mud, and I made some more corrugated sheet to span the gaps between the two sections of wall to make it look like it's the beginnings of a tunnel going slightly underground, and just added a few rocks here and there in the wet filler, and checked that I had enough grates to fill the whole area really. Had to chop a few up, which was a bit of a pain, but we got there eventually. It looks pretty good. So after making sure that everything was dry, I could make a start on the painting. The fence panels were first, or the wooden panels were first. I used quite a variation of browns and stuff like deck tan and sandy colours, woody colours, just to get a different kind of variation for each panel. A little bit of grey here and there. Added grey to a metallic to make the colour for the corrugated sheets, and then did some rust effects on it and a couple of washes just to get a bit of variation again. Then it was the long arduous task of doing sandbags. Now, first time doing these, so I think they're slightly larger than they should be, but I'm not really bothered. I think they do the job, and they look okay, not brilliant, but I doubt very much that I'll be doing any more sandbags again very soon. I hated it. So the build stage was completed by getting a couple of the sprigs from the bush that I nicked from Tesco's car park and pinning them together to make slightly bigger trees. And then I used not Vallejo, it was AK Interactive snow sprinkles, and I think there's another one as well. There's 3 different products that they do, and I did a combination of all 3 to get the snow effects on the ground and inside the trench, and a little bit on the branches as well. So for the paint scheme, I knew I wanted to do something different. I didn't want just plain snow troopers, obviously, because I'm doing the Hoth diorama. So I wanted to find a camouflage colour scheme. So off to Google I go, and I thought this is pretty good, but then I thought we've got cloth and armour. But then I saw another picture then with, it looked like white trees in the background, like this one. And I thought, oh yeah, I can do birch trees now. So for the armour, I thought I could do like a tiger stripe kind of pattern, and then have the cloth stippled on or sponged on greys, and that's how that came together. But the main part of the paint job was obviously the white, and that was a white grey and an off-white mixed together, sprayed over a grey primer, and it didn't have to do much more to it really. I added more white for like a zenithal coat from above, and the white was pretty much done. It was then getting the sponge out and doing a couple of different colour greys for the cloth, and then putting the stripes on then with I think it was German grey or maybe dark grey. The red here was actually picked from a poll that I put up on Instagram, and the followers picked red here. I was either going to go red or blonde, but they said red. So I thought red would be good. And you can see how the camouflage fits in with the birch trees there. I thought birch trees should be quite easy to do. And then the finishing touches really were the, I've forgotten the name of it now, engine grime. So once the painting was finished, gave them a coat of chipping fluid and then sprayed on the engine grime with the airbrush, and then removed it with thinners, and then that gives you a nice well, dirty texture, and just accentuates the shadows for you as well. So this poor bugger was a late addition to the diorama. I don't feel too sorry for him because he's rebel scum. The first time I saw it, I thought, oh yeah, I've got to put him in the diorama, and it just made sense because I had a gap where I couldn't put any figures. I thought, yeah, we'll put a dead rebel there. How do we make it a bit better? A bit of gore. So he's been shot in the face, and the contents of his brain are left on the corrugated sheet there. Did that with a mix of Blood for the Blood God and Tamiya Clear, and a bit of I think it was a bit of Yoo-hoo glue in there as well, just to get the sticky bits on there. And it's a really old pot of Tamiya Clear red, and when you leave the top off it for longer than you should, it starts to go really sticky, and it's brilliant for streaks of gore and stuff like that. So buy an extra pot of Tamiya Clear red and leave the pot off for a bit. You'll love it. So overall, really good project for me. Really enjoyed it. Turned out lovely, I think. And yeah, on to the next one. So I'm gonna stop waffling now and leave you with some nice pictures. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.